Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hello and welcome to Lectures. I'm your host, Atishan, with my co-host, the man, the legend, Danish Ilyas. How you doing, Danish?
I'm doing very well.
Good, good. You seem like tired, man.
Very tired, long day, but it's
It happens, it happens. Uh, we can't all have, great days. And plus the weather sucks, man. April, it should be, warm as hell. We should be allowed to go out, but this is
it's
Canada, I
deceiving.
guess.
You see the sun, but when you step outside, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we are here to talk about the Pakistan cricket series against New Zealand, and there's a few things to go over. We'll go over the batting, bowling, squad selection, and see where what our predictions were, and see if we're heading that way. Danish, you're already out, man. We lost one game. You were
Yeah.
5-0. So
Yeah.
the first game was a rain out, which seemed a legit pain in the ass because I think we both were waiting for it the whole freaking day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had that court and I was still checking the scorecard, and every 2 minutes was just, and then we just get to see a wicket from Shaheen, and we're like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And then we get to game two and three. So, what did you first of all think about the squad selection in both of the games? There were some surprises that people did not expect.
Okay. You're talking about the game we won? You're talking about the game.
The playing 11 for both games.
Okay. Well, playing 11 for both games. I would say, I think, well, was it- if the heart was still in the second game as well. Let's start with the first game. I think the very first game you're not going to change after the rain out. So I would say game number two out of the series. It was okay. Mohamed Amr got his chance. I think he had a great comeback. We had a good batting setup. We had a good batting plan. So I think it was very well balanced. And the second game, I feel like Imad Wasim should have got the start, right? You are bringing this guy in. There was so much hype about him. Specifically, he had those three brilliant performances under pressure every single time it came through. So I think that merits somewhat of a chance. I still think both times they're quite balanced squad. I think Niazi, young guy coming in, he's getting a chance deservingly, but um, yeah, I would say fairly balanced both times.
For for me, I think it's a matter of why are we playing this series, right? So for me,
Mhm.
the playing 11 or any of the series that we're going to be playing prior to the World Cup is supposed to be a setup for the World Cup, right? So you've seen Babar Azam perform at the international level. I get it, given now he's the captain, so he should be playing. You've seen Mohammad Rizwan play as, on the international level. You've seen most of these guys play. So wouldn't it have made sense? In my opinion, it would have made more sense for you to be testing players that haven't played for a while, especially at the international level. So Naseem is justified, right? Shaheen needs a break, in my opinion. And I get it, you want to win right off, but look at, New Zealand, they're bringing their C team in. That tells you that you don't need to play Shaheen the whole thing. Maybe he's going to sit out now, but I would have rather seen him be, rested first and then brought in later on. Then there is the question about Rizwan still playing. Where would have Usman would have played? So for me, Imad Wasim's exclusion was fine. I don't really care because he doesn't really fit. And I think it was, like I said in the last video, it was unfair for them to call him back because he no longer fits. If it was prior to the ODI World Cup, it would have made sense for him to make a comeback. But at this time, there's too many other players that are, and our main weaknesses are batting, not our bowling. So I found the squad to be a little bit more on the side of, hey, we need to win this series, and then we will give our, playing 11 a change, and then we'll go from there. I was really, really surprised after how Amir performed, but he had a decent game. I wouldn't say that was a great
Yeah.
game, but it was a decent game when he came back. For him to be dropped instead of Shaheen or possibly Naseem was coming back after an injury to manage his injury load, to select Abbas Afridi in place of Muhammad Amir, who needs the reps, right?
Mhm.
So what do you think about that drop, honestly?
Oh, 1 second. Could you just repeat that last question?
So what did you think about Muhammad Amir being dropped instead of Abbas Afridi? I mean, in place to play Abbas Afridi.
I think in that case, they should. I think I think Amir should have been given a chance, and they're making changes too frequently to an extent. But Abbas did okay. I don't understand, to be honest. I don't understand that switch because you have one guy who comes in, he has a great economy, gets 2 wickets, right? There's this big hype about the guy. Fans are coming to see him. It's good for the game. You bench him, whatever reason. I think I'm assuming it being to rest him. Um, but once again, I would
But
say
why would he's
compared.
been resting for 3 years? Why would you rest
Yes,
him?
exactly.
Whereas you got guys
Yeah,
like Naseem Shah who's coming right-hander for a right-hander would have made sense, right? Naseem
yeah,
instead of Abbas because Naseem is coming back off an injury, or even Shaheen who's hasn't had a break forever.
yeah,
So I still find like we're still doing things that are questionable in trying to show that we're still gonna win instead
mhm,
of just going after us getting ready for the World Cup, right?
yeah,
Um, so I found the squad selection a bit questionable, even on the batting end that, Rizwan is still playing. When you have Usman, you can be testing another, young player as a batsman and let Usman be your keeper. Unfortunately, Azam is injured, so you can't do much. But other than Niazi and Usman, I didn't see any young blood in our team that you would be like, okay, they're testing new players. Two players is not enough when you're trying to set a squad for World Cup, right?
yeah. Um, Comment on that. You're right. I think this was the series to do that.
I, I think I think we're
Get your
playing
new guys
Ireland
in
too,
there.
right?
Yes, yeah, we're playing Ireland too.
So I don't know. I don't know. It's really surprising to me that Pakistan keeps doing the same thing again and again. The only time they tried people was the series against where Shaheen was captain, and I think they're scared. And now I don't know where we're gonna go, and we'll get into that as to where you see the series going and some of the changes that have come up. Now, let's get to the bowling aspect. What did you think about our bowling attack on the first game we played? I'm not talking about the rain out, and the second game we played. What was your takeaway from the bowling unit and the performances of the individual bowlers?
Well, I think I just previously said that Mohammed Amir, incredible numbers in the first game. I think Shaheen even got a in game 3, I guess. The second game played. Didn't I think Shaheen got a little bit out there. He got spanked a little bit, but first game I was pretty happy with the bowling. What was it, like 90 something? We got them all out, right? Like
Yeah,
92 to win or something.
yeah,
It
it
was
was a
great.
good
Yeah,
rhythm. Yeah,
it was very good rhythm. Everyone came out. I didn't see. I mean, I think Naseem's first over was okay, but then he kind of bounced back. He has some, good pace there. Second, Abbas, even though he did take a wicket, I felt like his slow balls, they were they were picked. But then again, I think in the first podcast I said that too, that New Zealand might just come out and they're like, okay, well, whatever. Like it is what it is. That's exactly what they did. They executed. Look how fast they changed after first game, right? I understand we're talking about the bowling, but bowling was great in the first game. But we came out with the same action plan second time around, and New Zealand was ready, right? They came out, and the guy made like what 80 something, right?
yeah, Chapman, and he was
Yeah,
dropped by Naseem and Allah. We'll get into what the hell we think about our fielding.
yeah,
But I think the unit looked really, really good with
good.
Naseem, Shaheen, and Amir together. Amir's 32, so I'm okay with him coming back. And I think he had a raw deal by Ramiz Raja because of his history. Ramiz Raja wasn't willing to forgive him, and that's why he was kind of, blacklisted. So
Mhm.
him, I'm in favor of coming back, and he looked good. It's unfortunate that our dumbass selectors decided to rest him for game two. There's no indication that there was any injury or anything. The guy's been sitting at home for, I don't know, what, 3, 4, 5 years now. So
Mhm.
why would he need rest?
Yeah,
I think the plans in the first bowling in the first game were much more clear. There was, and as soon as the swing went away, you could see our batsmen, even during when it was swinging, they were varying their ball, like the speed of their ball, and they were
Mhm.
bowling slower ones and things of this nature. And I think you're very right in that New Zealand is one of those teams that looks into analytics, looks at the video, looks at everything before and after each game.
yeah,
And prior to the next one, and they pretty much figured it out as to what the plan that Pakistan had in Rawalpindi, which is plan you have every time you play in Rawalpindi,
Mhm.
and they were able to pick it. But I think it's also the fact that with Abbas playing, you were playing with two right-handers against a team that has a lot more lefties,
Yes.
right? And even though right-handers are effective against them, only when it's swinging, I think. After that, the angle of the cut shot, the pull shot, coming around the wicket, you're bowling into their mid-wicket area, all of those things do play a role. And I think the playing two right-handers in that game didn't make sense.
Yeah,
I think it weakened our bowling, and I think it took out a little bit of the oomph that we had from the first game, where Shaheen was vibing off of Naseem and Amir were vibing off of each other. The unit was vibing off of each other, and we
yeah,
caught New Zealand by surprise. So it would have been good to see our bowling attack in the second game, where New Zealand comes and does their homework with all of three of these guys, right? Because you're trying to
yeah,
set up for the World Cup.
yeah. So if you compare the two games, right, we have Abbas Afridi and Amir Khan, right? You have just eliminated that pace. You look at that first game, you got Shaheen coming, you got Naseem coming, and then you got Amir Khan. Okay, sure, you fend them all off, but by the time you fend them off, there's potential power play there. There's 6 overs, like big, or even if it's in the death overs, like you're most teams are not going to be very successful against those three, right? Now you got Abbas Afridi in the second game coming out, decent, 9. But your two main bowlers here went for an economy of 11.1 and 14.66, right? So that tells
Yeah.
you that New Zealand figured it out. They did their homework. It's those same guys, same two guys, and then it goes right back to your point, right? The lefty righty combo in terms of bowler batsman, I'm 100% on board with that. I think that was a little bit of an opportunity that was missed. But it goes to show that now tomorrow's prediction is going to be extremely complicated. Pakistan will be Pakistan. They're going to make a reactive decision, right? I personally believe that the selection committee in the history, they get pressured by the media and they have to kind of follow that suit. But I could be wrong. Maybe they're shooting in the dark, but I think it's so selection focused. Everything, something bad happens, the media is all over the place. Everyone's like, oh, selection
I
this, that. Yeah,
I agree with you on that somewhat, but if you
yeah,
see what the Pakistan camp looks like, Wahab
yeah,
Riaz is sitting in there. I've never seen an English chief selector be sitting with their team during a series.
yeah,
So you can say that the media might influence them, but I think it's also the fact that these guys want to be in front of the limelight and they want credit for when they do well, and when they don't do well they want to blame it on somebody else, which is often the players, the public, and all of those things. So I think it's like a give and take, but honestly, like, the selection is based on just saving your own ass type of situation with these guys and
yeah.
getting popularity out of it. And I think that that was kind of their influence in the second part, because it makes absolutely no sense for you to be playing Abbas Afridi in the second game when I don't think he's part of your long term plans. What are you gonna sit higher for? Like, you think after Naseem, Shaheen, Amer, Haris, is Abbas Afridi your fifth bowler, or what do you think? Like, there's no indication he is, right? So it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
surprising to me, and no changes in the batting after you know you've seen the rest of the guys since play for a long time. So it was like surprising to me on that. So since I talked about batting, let's talk about what did you think about our batting, the batting order itself, the players individually. Um, for me, there was a lot of disappointment, but I'll let you get into it first.
Okay, we'll start with the very first game. I mean, unlucky Samayu, but I think he's okay. He plays with intent. He knows his role. Wherever you're gonna send him, he's just gonna go smack. I think he's a good. So he's a check. Babar Azam, in the first game, I think he had like what, 14 runs or something. He played
I think
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, Mohammed. I mean, his wrist took us home. And I think in the second game, I feel like if Riz, you're right. I think you had mentioned in one of our conversations. I think Mohammed Rizwan should have been, rested. He is always hurt, and I think he did get hurt again,
yep.
hamstring or something. Um, time after time after time, we have to get out of that mindset that, हमारे जमाने में तो होता था हम कर लेते हम कर लेते थे, right? You don't want to. I think that has to shift, but and then you have Usman Khan, he kept anyway, so should have been keeper. You have apparently committed to him, um, so he should be part of the plan long term. Coming down to the other game, I mean, I think the batting was still okay. We could have got a couple more runs, but I think second game definitely came down to the bowling and those drop catches, which we'll get to. That's pretty much what it is. I think Rizwan should have been rested. Second game.
I मेरा ये है कि यार I honestly don't think they know what they're doing, right? If as a common cricket person, you can pick it up. So the first game, I kind of wash out the batting in that, even though it did indicate something to me that for the pitch was difficult. No doubt it was difficult, but even when we were chasing, we did not go out there. As soon as Simon Ayub gets out, it's like a dark cloud that came over our team. I think as soon as we lose a wicket, we go into a shell of sorts. And then I'm looking at this scorecard, and Rizwan is 45 runs off of 34 balls, right?
Yeah,
Batting one down. And he came in the power play, right? That to me tells you that your one down is not doing what they need to do to keep the momentum going, even if you lose a quick wicket,
yeah,
right? Then I'm looking at Usman coming at number 4 when there's spinners bowling, and it's not the best. Field is out, so you as a guy coming in, you're you can't play risky shots because there's fielders out there that are gonna, maybe catch the ball, or it makes you a tiny bit nervous, right? So are you putting him in the right situation in the batting order to succeed? In my opinion, hell no, right? For me, Rizwan is proven in and out. This guy can perform. So why are
yeah,
you still playing him?
correct.
All of PSL, he's been grabbing his hamstring. He whether it's acting, whether it's whatever it is, he keeps all the time. So it does take a toll on your body. Then I love the inclusion that I forgot to mention Irfan Khan Niazi. I think a good setup, good person to bring in. But I think his batting number is wrong as well. I think he should be batting exactly where he was batting in the PSL. Maybe it's because they're trying to get him a little bit more reps prior
Yeah,
to the World Cup of some sort. But him batting at number 5 is making absolutely no sense to me when Shadab has shown you, and he did show you in the second game, uh,
yeah.
or technically the third
Oh,
T20I, where he came in and he pretty much just nailed the shit out of the ball with a strike
205
rate of
strike rate,
205, right?
205. Yeah.
So why would you be bringing Niazi before him? And then I don't like Chachu. I've never liked Chachu because he's lying about his age. I think it's
Mhm.
unfair. But Chachaji even should be given more of an opportunity to bat before Irfan Khan Niazi. For him to be getting 4 deliveries at the end of the inning, makes absolutely no sense because we all know he's one of the fucker Zaman types that if he gets going, he'll, score a shitload. If he doesn't get going, who gives a crap?
Yeah, I agree with you there because if you look at some of the things that Ifty has done, but let's look at the positives here. He's done well. He's proved himself. He has the power. He's done it in domestic, international. He hasn't really performed, but he's going to get the opportunity. A guy like that aggressive at any level, right? Who's consistently performed, you give them an extra 6, 7 balls. It's a big thing. Those small things matter. You're right. Maybe set them a little bit up. Maybe, you know, try it out. I think this is the time where they could be making those little changes. But, Alhamdulillah, Ishadab and Irfan Khan at the bottom there, 41 off 20, like as you previously said, 205 strike rate. And I think it was, I don't know, 30 runs or something, 31 maybe for Niazi. And yeah, I think he plays aggressive. That even if he gets a single, he's going for it. So I think that's good. He should get more chances, develop that guy, exceptional fielder. And I think that's a
Oh
good
yeah,
segue
yeah.
to talk about, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
just needed.
I don't know, man. I feel like right now, if you look at the T20 squad, and people are gonna hate me for saying this, but if you're putting Usman Khan in, I think at this time you have to remove Rizwan then, right? It can either be Rizwan or either it can be Usman. Because your number four needs to be either Shadab,
Yeah,
Iftikhar, or somebody else. You can't
yeah,
have a top three person be batting in number four because it's a different game. By that time, the power play is done. And the field is open, and a lot of these
mhm,
guys catch their rhythm. The top three catch their rhythm by batting within the power play or having the momentum of the openers carry on, right? So
mhm.
from that point of view, you're kind of cornering yourself with Rizwan, who doesn't do well after the power play. He always slows down. That's been his history, right? And then you bring in Usman, who again at the international level, or at this, he's only played 2 games. But if you look at him in other international leagues, he struggles at those numbers, 4, 5, 6. The only reason he scored in the PSL was most of the time in the top three. And then I think he had one inning where he batted four and scored a century, but I'm not 100% on that. So are you setting yourself up and then to succeed? I don't know, because Shadab at number 6 makes absolutely no sense. He's your best player to play spin.
Yeah,
And then if the car, even though you want to save him from the spin, then why are you even playing him? If the guy can't play spin on an international level, why the hell is he even in the squad then? He's
yeah,
done well in domestic leagues, but I don't think he's done shown that consistency in international level. But at this time, would I rather send him before Niazi? Yes, in order to prep him for World Cup because there's no other thing. There's nobody else coming in instead of him. Azam Khan
yeah,
is injured, so what do we expect now, right? So I think the batting was and the mentality behind the batting was a pretty much the same it has always been, which
mhm,
is save our ass, let's try to get as many as we can instead of trying to strive for a certain uh what's it called, target. Like if I was playing, like I would say let's get to 220, go for it, right? Not, hey, let's see how many we can get.
yeah,
At that point you're going to always get 170, 180. That's normal. We're not playing in the
yeah,
freaking IPL, like in
yeah,
freaking Hyderabad and shit. So
yeah,
uh I think there's a lack of aggression that I noticed. Now it's only been 2 games.
mhm.
And the major thing, and I'll ask you the question about it. Did sh- did you think that there was some sort of step back in regards to Barber's aggression in his batting?
Yeah. He played with 120 something strike rate in the second game. Um, you know, yeah, he kind of just, I mean, but still, again, it's Bobber, right? He probably, I mean, Ayub was going, so he probably just stopped in the beginning, right? because Ayub had what 32 or 32, 145 strike rate. Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't
yeah,
get to
yeah,
face many
yeah.
deliveries.
Exactly, right? So it I think it was a good start. The issue was, you got Usman Khan, who just went Rizwan retired. Or not, if Rizwan was there, we all know he's capable, but it shows that this guy's fatigued, man. We're running this guy dry. Naseem Shah just came off injury, right? It's obvious that we saw in Asia Cup and World Cup, Shaheen just went downhill. What's interesting is that if you look at our core players, only Babar Azam has 100 ODIs, and I think and nobody else is even close, right? So it's
I
not
think,
when you
yeah.
think about it, like, yeah, Rizwan doesn't. He's definitely under 100 too. So this even our core lineup, yeah, they're going through it, but I feel like right down that top, Osman Khan better step up. Like that's we need you're right. We need that one person up there because we know Babar and San can do it. Okay. All right. Fakhr, I mean, he had ample opportunity and
Oh,
I
they're
don't
gonna
know.
give him a chance now. What? That's what the
Yeah.
news came out.
Yeah. That
So
I'm off the Fakhr Zaman bandwagon now. Like that ship has sailed for me. The guy got enough opportunity. If he comes to the World Cup and he performs great, no, I'm not no comment on him. But Usman Khan is that one guy just very nervous. I'm like, buddy, there's been many careers ruined and you burned all your bridges. Like I understand the passion for
yeah,
Pakistan, but I totally get it. But you've burned a lot of bridges and you've closed a lot of doors for other domestic Pakistani players by
yep,
making that because now that board is going to be very it's our reputation is amazing right now,
yeah.
it's awesome, right? So you close those doors by making that attempt, making that call. So I'm worried about him. I don't know what pressure or if he is anyways off that, but looking at that scorecard, yeah, shut
I
up,
th
man. He,
I
he
think
he's that trump card. He's doing really well. He's that one guy who I feel is a professional because you know what? He was good. He had a bad stint. He took some time off, and then he came back with his performance. And he's consistently been a decent fielder. So he's that one guy that we could hope that stays healthy, right? We know what
yeah.
we're gonna get out of
I
that
th-
guy.
I don't think he's had any injury problems in the past. I think it was just that, right prior to his decline,
Yeah,
he had that. But I think I
yeah,
when I talk about Barber, I think I saw that there was some nervousness in his batting. When
hmm
he wasn't captain, you saw a little bit more flow out of his batting, a little bit more aggression. We saw him play a freaking ramp shot for God's sake. We've never seen him do that, right? So
yeah,
I think he took a little bit of a step back, but again, it's just 2 games. Maybe it was just a matter of because they're coming back from a break or so. So at that point, I think there is some there, but I totally agree with you. I think uh Rizwan at number 4 is probably the most appropriate way to move forward with this.
yeah,
Because he can at least anchor in the middle should we have to need. And then if he doesn't get to bat, who gives a shit?
yeah,
If we're 15 overs through and we are like, everybody's kicking ass, send Shadab, send Ifti, send Niazi, send whoever is a hitter. And Rizwan
yeah,
can take a step back, which will give him opportunity to technically rest in a game and at the same time be taking care of his body as a wicket keeper. Now the news is that Fakhr Zaman is the next player who will be playing instead of Rizwan, but they have called up Hasib Ullah. Now, do you find that Fakhr, like you've already made it clear, I'm totally 100% with you on that. But do you think Fakhr is still going to be played instead of a youngster that deserves this chance?
um, I would rather them choose
No, not
Fakhr
not
Zaman.
not not what you would. I'm asking you what do you think that Fakhr will be playing tomorrow? Are you gonna be an optimistic Pakistani fan, or are you just gonna be realistic like I am, which is yeah, he's probably playing. He's gonna be playing.
So are you who where would he fit? Would he come open? Who would they draw?
He would come
If
probably number 4 or number 3.
yeah, and Rizwan's gonna be out, right?
Yep. He's out of the series, so way to
Let's
go,
see.
selectors.
Yeah, okay, I'll say yeah. He'll probably play. Yeah, he'll probably play.
And
People,
so
even though like if you think about it, if that's the case, yeah, like who if they don't bring him, who's the other guy? They could have brought is that
Hasibullah.
Hasibullah? Yeah, Hasibullah. Okay. Yeah.
I think for tomorrow, and I think we're running out of time here, but we'll do this quickly. Our feeling sucks. It needs to improve. I'm guessing you're on board with that.
Yeah, yeah,
I think we don't have anybody that likes to dive on the floor other than maybe Niazi and
yeah,
Shadab, and everybody else just sits on their ass, and it's
yeah,
it's it's horrible to look at.
yeah.
So let's finish it off with this. What type of changes and what changes you would like to see for the remainder of this series? And of course, we'll talk about it once the series is over in our next episode for next week. But what changes would you like to see tomorrow and your prediction for the remainder of the series? Because you were wrong, buddy. It wasn't 5-0. Even the rain screwed
Yeah,
you over.
yeah, exactly. Hey man, we have a love and hate relationship as Pakistani fans with rain, okay? So yeah. Uh but I okay, so what changes I would want to see? Honestly, fire like aggressive right up on top, and then you have your pace. You have your Amir. You just go with that pace because that in game one, that synergy that the pace brought, like I don't care what batting, you know, lineup you put in front of that. You got Amir, Shaheen, and Naseem just coming at it, right? And then you got Shadab and that spin. I think those are the changes I want. You got a guy who's gonna hold on and anchor the innings and whatnot. It's too fast. T20 is way too fast, right? Go aggressive. Like have two or three players who can get you that quick 20 runs. And then, you got good spin, right? Abrar's doing okay, Shadab's doing okay. You got Niazi. You can get a couple of overs out of 50. You're fine on the spin department there. And then you got a bowler in a U, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that I was surprised with, and that's what
right?
I'll
So
probably get into that when we do
yeah,
our final like the video of the
yeah.
whole series.
And I'll finish by saying to all the fans, if you truly look at on paper, this is a solid team,
Yeah, I agree
right?
with that.
This is a solid team. But as we continue to see as fans, like there is so much mismanagement. We just need a little bit of tweak, a little bit of leadership, right? And trust me, like we still go to so many like tiers, different tournaments. We go to like finals. Sometimes we've gone to quarters or whatnot. So the talent is there. Let's not talk about that. Look at that roster. They are dangerous. Just need to be led
Yep.
properly. So yeah,
So
that's all.
f- so for me, I think the first priority I would like to see change is Barber's captaincy and overall aggression. I think seeing what
Yeah,
we saw about Barber in the PSL, the way he captained, the way he batted was different than again what he's doing. This is what we've seen already, and this is why he was removed. So I would rather see them. I like you're losing a game. You got lefties batting, and you don't use Simon Ayub. It's just mind-boggling to me,
yeah,
right? Then I think the next part I would like to see change is and I agree with you on this, is that go with aggressiveness. Let's see what happens. This series does
yeah,
not matter. You win or lose, people want to see new blood. Like I would like to
yeah,
see Bobber sitting out. I would like to see Rizwan sitting out. I would like to see Iftikhar sitting out and new people coming in and see Shaheen sitting out for bowling and this like people who haven't played much or haven't rested much, basically the ones that haven't rested get to rest, and the ones that haven't played get to play. So this will
yeah,
give your Imad an opportunity, this will give Usama Mir an opportunity, this would give your Hasibullah, and you'll actually get to see these guys, do something. And at the same time, your players that have been playing for so long will get to rest. That's what
yeah.
I want to see. I don't want to see Babur's face again tomorrow. I don't want Rizwan's out anyways, but I don't want to see Ifti there. I don't want to see Shaheen. I don't want to see
Hmm.
Nas. I want to see somebody new. This is what they said. This is what they sold us in when they were selling
Yeah,
tickets for this series, is that we're gonna try new people and see where it goes. And if you have to play a Barber, like tell him, dude, go do what you did in the PSL. And like I told you, bro, I honestly think that was most Darren Sammy rather than Barber.
bother.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you could see it. Unless his team is doing very well, he doesn't make those changes. He's very conventional. It's like Misbah, and I was never a fan of Misbah's captaincy.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point, what did Darren Sammy do? He led, right? He coached. He
Yeah,
used his experience. He was in the field. He was out there, right? He made calls, right? You got to take that risk. And I agree with you. This is the series, and now you do it against Ireland. Okay, cool, sure, right? That's great. And then you have World Cup. But I think look at our core players. They played some of the greats in the world. We're ready to go, right? That's the
yeah.
best thing
Like
you can say about the World
if you
Cup.
if
Yeah,
you look at all of these guys, they all have at least 50 to 70 games under their belt. So why
yeah,
not give as many games as you can to other people? And
yep,
1 or 2 games before you even do warm-ups in World Cup. So why does it
yeah,
even matter that they
yeah,
have to play these series to warm up? Like, I don't think Shaheen has confidence issue, Rizwan, Babar, any of these guys have confidence issues. So why are you continuing to play them? They're central contract player. Why wouldn't you just give them money for even sitting out type of situation? So let's
exactly.
see what happens. I honestly don't expect much from this, the TCB, these lectures and all that. And you're the optimistic fan on this channel. I'm
Mhm.
not. I was that delusional person, but not anymore. So what's your prediction for the remainder of the series as to win and loss?
Pakistan's gonna win the next games. They're not losing another. I don't
Both
think so.
in
Uh,
Lahore?
we're a reactive team. They're gonna, yeah. They. I think Pakistan's got this in Lahore. I think yeah, Pakistan for sure.
I think we're gonna split it. I think Chapman is a pain in our ass.
Hmm.
The man always scores against us,
Hmm.
and our feeling is not up to the mark that we will be that
Yeah,
competitive. And I think if
yeah.
if they decide to play everybody, try to change things up, I think you lose a game in that, and that's fine.
We'll
Right now,
see.
losing doesn't matter to me. I think it will be a win for us if we play people that freaking deserve to play right now,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah. It was a time to rest the core, and they didn't. But let's see. It's not
yeah,
surprising. But
it is what
all
it
right.
is. Anyways,
Until next
guys,
time.
this is what we had for you guys for this episode, which was the first 3 games, technically 2 games, our analysis of it. We will be back after the series is done and we'll go again into depth as to what happened in the next 2 games and where we see this team going in the future, which is probably Ireland, but they're going to suck there too. So, and that's all we have. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz and have a good night.